The Northrop P-61 Black Widow is a twin-engine United States Army Air Force's fighter aircraft of World War II. It was the first operational U.S. warplane designed as a night fighter. Named for the North American Spider Latrodectus mactans, it was an all-metal twin-engine, twin-boom design armed with 4 forward-firing 20mm Hispano M2 autocannon in the lower fuselage and 4.50 in M2 Browning machine guns in a dorsal gun turret. Developed during the war, the first test flight was made on May 26, 1942, with the first production aircraft rolling off the assembly line in October 1943. Although not produced in the large numbers of its contemporaries, the Black Widow was operated effectively as a night fighter by United States Army Air Forces squadrons in the European Theater, Pacific Theater, China-Burma-India Theater, and Mediterranean Theater during World War II. It replaced earlier British-designed night fighter aircraft that had been updated to incorporate radar when it became available. After the war, the P-61 was redesignated as the F-61 and served in the United States Air Force as a long-range, all-weather, day-night interceptor for Air Defense Command until 1948, and for the 5th Air Force until 1950. The last aircraft was retired from government service in 1954. On the night of the 14th of August, 1945, a P-61B of the 548th Night Fighter Squadron named Lady in the Dark was unofficially credited with the last Allied air victory before VJ Day. The P-61 was also modified to create the F-15 Reporter Photo Reconnaissance aircraft for the United States Army Air Forces, and subsequently, the United States Air Force. In August 1940, 16 months before the United States entered the war, the U.S. Air Officer in London, Lieutenant General Delos C. Emmons, was briefed on British research in radar, radio detection and ranging, which had been underway since 1935 and had played an important role in the nation's defense against the Luftwaffe during the Battle of Britain. General Emmons was informed of the new Airborne Intercept Radar, AI for short, a self-contained unit that could be installed in aircraft and operated independently of ground stations. In September 1940, the Tizard mission traded British research, including the cavity magnetron, that would make self-contained interception radar installations practicable for American production. Simultaneously, the British Purchasing Commission evaluating U.S. aircraft declared their urgent need for a high-altitude, high-speed aircraft to intercept the Luftwaffe bombers attacking London at night. The aircraft would need to patrol continuously over the city throughout the night, requiring at least an 8-hour loiter capability. The aircraft would carry one of the early heavy AI radar units and mount its specified armament in multiple gun turrets. The British conveyed the requirements for a new fighter to all the aircraft designers and manufacturers they were working with. Jack Northrop was among them, and he realized that the speed, altitude, fuel load, and multiple turret requirements demanded a large aircraft with multiple engines. General Emmons returned to the U.S. with details of the British night fighter requirements, and in his report said that the design departments of the American aviation industry's firms could possibly produce such an aircraft. The Emmons Board developed basic requirements and specifications, handing them over towards the end of 1940 to the Air Technical Service Command, ATSC, at Wright Field, Ohio. After considering the two biggest challenges, the heavy weight of the AI radar and the very long, by fighter standards, loiter time of 8 hours minimum, the board, including Jack Northrop, realized the aircraft would need the considerable power and resulting size of twin engines, and recommended such parameters. The United States had 2 twin-row radials of at least 46 liters displacement in development since the late 1930s, the Double Wasp and the Duplex Cyclone. These engines had been airborne for their initial flight tests by the 1940-41 timeframe, and were each capable, with more development, of exceeding 2,000 GP, 1,500 kilowatts. Vladimir Pavleka, Northrop Chief of Research, was present on unrelated business at Wright Field. On the 21st of October 1940, Colonel Lawrence Craigie of the ATSC phoned Pavleka, explaining the U.S. Army Air Corps specifications, but told him to Not take any notes. Just try and keep this in your memory. What Pavleka did not learn was radar's part in the aircraft. Craigie described the then top-secret radar as a device which would locate enemy aircraft in the dark, and which had the ability to see and distinguish other airplanes. The mission, Craigie explained, was the interception and destruction of hostile aircraft in flight during periods of darkness or under conditions of poor visibility. Met with Jack Northrop the next day and gave him the USAAC specifications. Northrop compared his notes with those of Pavleka, saw the similarity between the USAAC's requirements and those issued by the RAF, and pulled out the work he had been doing on the British aircraft's requirements. He was already a month along, and a week later, Northrop pounced on the USAAC proposal. On the 5th of November, Northrop and Pavleka met at Wright Field with Air Material Command officers and presented them with Northrop's preliminary design, the Douglas XA-26. A night fighter proposal was the only competition. Northrop's design was selected. Following the USAAC acceptance, Northrop began comprehensive design work on what would become the first dedicated night fighter, citation needed. The result was the largest Pursuit-class aircraft flown by the U.S. during the war. The P-61C was a high-performance variant designed to rectify some of the combat deficiencies encountered with the A and B variants. Work on the P-61C proceeded quite slowly at Northrop because of the higher priority of the Northrop XB-35 Flying Wing Strategic Bomber project. In fact, much of the work on the P-61C was farmed out to Goodyear, which had been a subcontractor for production of Black Widow components. It was not until early 1945 that the first production P-61 C1 No rolled off the production lines. As promised, the performance was substantially improved in spite of a 2,000 pounds, 910 kilograms, increase in empty weight. This increase in performance came as a result of the new Pratt & Whitney R2857. This was a new compound-charged engine. It increased in power from 2,200 GP per engine to 2,800 GP per engine, a total of 5,600 GP. The supercharger and turbocharger combined with this engine also helped climbing rates and high-altitude power and efficiency, as well as allowing the P-61C to achieve higher altitudes. Maximum speed was 430 miles per hour, 690 kilometers per h, at 30,000 feet, 9,100 m. Service ceiling was 41,000 feet, 12,000 m, and an altitude of 30,000 feet, 9,100 m, could be attained in 14.6 minutes. The P-61C was equipped with perforated fighter air brakes located both below and above the wing surfaces. These were to provide a means of preventing the pilot from overshooting his target during an intercept. For added fuel capacity, the P-61C was equipped with 4 underwing pylons, 2 inboard of the nacelles, 2 outboard, which could carry 4 310 US gal, 1,200 L, 260 imp gal drop tanks. The first P-61C aircraft was accepted by the USAAF in July 1945. However, the war in the Pacific ended before any P-61Cs could see combat. The 41st and last P-61 C1 No was accepted on the 28th of January 1946. At least 13 more were completed by Northrop, but were scrapped before they could be delivered to the USAAF. Service life of the P-61C was quite brief, since its performance was being outclassed by newer jet aircraft. Most were used for test and research purposes. By the end of March 1949, most P-61Cs had been scrapped. 2 entered the civilian market, and 2 others went to museums.